Hello, welcome. Today we are playing Them Deeper Bones, which is a retro adventure game, which basically means something quite like the old Dungeons and Dragons, except a bit more focused on the exploration and a bit less focused on getting loot. Today, I will be your guide. I'm Petri. I'm the writer of the game. And joining me in the same order as we practiced, there we go. Annina.
Hi, I'm Annina Kaski. I'm a actor and writer and a TTRPG player, as well as on here. I'm also a cast member on Bardic Quest, a D&D 5e actual play show, YouTube, and your podcast platforms. So check that.
Yeah, link available below. And we have Andrew.
Yep, I'm Andreas Johansson. In the past, I worked with Roll20, but these days, TTRPG is strictly on the hobby side. That's me.
Okay, and so today we will be creating characters for our adventure, and we are starting by rolling ability scores for our adventurers. And since this is very, very much a classic old D&D style game, it is done by rolling 3d6 and placing it in the spot on the character sheet where it happens to go on. So we'll see in a moment what sort of characters we're talking about. And if you start rolling from the top towards the bottom, first one is physique, which is all things physical, bodily power, athletic ability, and general physicality used in combat and other athletic endeavors.
Let's see how rough this post-apocalyptic world will be. 10.
Oh,
10.
Not. Sounds survivable, possibly.
Yeah. And
okay. Also a 10.
it's a good average roll. Average rolls are very nice and useful. Next one is a reflex, which is pretty much just the speed of your character reactions and actual like movement, how fast they are.
Does that also include like finger dexterity and doing things?
Usually not.
Okay,
Nerves and steadiness goes into insight, which comes later.
I see.
So
I rolled another 10.
Well,
very, very nice.
Not gonna complain.
Yeah, that's a good roll. Anything that is 10 or above already gives your character some bonuses to the rolls, so that's nice. And Andu, what you get?
12.
Well, yeah, so above average. Next one is stamina, which is metabolism, life force, general health.
Oh.
How sturdy you are.
Yeah, and I would say reflex 12 is crossbow average. Or on.
So a bit sickly. Just a bit.
I couldn't avoid my fate.
Yeah, something goes
It was
bad.
written in the stars.
Yeah. And
I
Annina.
have 11.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so
Thank you
everything's
to the dice gods. They're being kind and being very kind.
okay. So going forward, we have knowledge, which is exactly that. How much you know.
Good.
Folk
Well,
learning,
again.
folklore, and practical applications of those. So what should you say?
12 again.
12 again. No, nice.
I have 14.
Okay, we have a smart
Damn.
one, or
Yeah.
at least learned one.
Yeah.
Knowledge does not immediately mean how smart you are; it just means how much you know.
Book smart, at least.
Yeah, book smarts, or for folklore if you're more that sort of a person. Then there's insight. Insight is how perceptive you are and how your nerves handle under stress. Hand-eye coordinations.
10.
10.
7.
Well,
Yeah, balancing out my earlier rolls.
Yeah, so far, characters are looking good. And last ability score is power, which is force of will and personality, the ability to resist magics and stand ground against things that are frightening.
That's another 10.
8.
Steady. A bit on the low side, but still good. Okay, so quite nice. Let's take a look at the row. Ando, you don't have any ability scores 13 or higher, which means that if you want to, you can switch your stamina to a 13.
Oh, that would sound pretty nice. Are there other options?
Or you can reroll your character. That's an option. Or you can keep these. These are quite good.
I reroll. That's funnier because if I get a 4 again, then we know there's nothing.
Yeah, let's reroll just that because it's a good stat row
10.
otherwise.
Okay.
10. Yeah. You're fine. So we have quite a steady combination. Both characters have one thing they're a bit on the low side, and nothing that is really like out there. So a very, very good spread, so to speak. After the ability scores, there's where am I? There's the character role, and there are 3 roles which correspond to character classes in other games. The roles are fighter, expert, and magic user. And fighters are always better than the other roles in fighting. Magic users get magic from the beginning, and experts are really good at that one thing they do. And what that thing is depends on their background. Like they're the sort of well-rounded class or role. I have no recommendations for either of you. It doesn't really hurt either, like the low power or low insight. They don't really force your hand into anything. So, like, what would you like to do is a question more than like this would be a good fit for that ability score spread.
Well,
I'm leaning towards expert just because I've got that high knowledge.
All right,
that's
all
good.
right, good. I was going to say I'm leaning on giving up to chance, so I guess I'll roll D4 and low I'll take fighter and high I take magic user.
Oh,
nice.
It's high, so what did I say I would take?
Magic user, I think.
Okay, magic user it is.
Okay. Select that on the character sheet and it's the role, you switch that on, and it should give you a list of special abilities on the character sheet on the very right. But just a quick recap of what to expect. Experts roll all their reflex saving throws with advantage, which means rolling the d20 twice and taking the better one. They can exploit the weakness of enemies, so if they take a moment to evaluate, they get higher damage on their rolls. They understand the world enough that they can try to decipher any language they come across. They can try to understand the meaning even if they don't understand the words. When in combat, they with each attack they can perform some additional thing like throwing sand into their eyes or trying to trip them or whatever. Just like each of their successful attacks also has an additional benefit. And when they roll things that are related to their background, they get bonus dice. So when we get to background, there's that one thing that you're really good at. Magic user is a bit more complicated, so this will take a moment. Magic users have spells.
Yep, and I saw them are available in the drop-down, so some familiar names, at least.
Some familiar names. The good thing is that you don't have to decide. You get to roll.
Yes.
like everyone else. So, quick recap on magic user powers. They always roll power saving throws with advantage. So you have that. You start with a traveling spellbook that can hold 6 spells maximum. You don't start with that many. And if you roll low on a magic roll, you get to re-roll. And you have a few special things. First of all, you can try to detect magic. You can ask if there is magic present. We make a roll and I'll tell you what you get from that. You can cast any spell you have in your spellbook as a ritual, which makes it more certain to succeed, but it takes a longer time. You start with some spells, as said. How much was your knowledge? 12. So you start with 3 spells, which is a nice array. And when you cast spells, you can tap into your own physical power to make them more powerful. So basically giving you bonus that drains away from your physique, reflex, or stamina score after you cast the spell. So basically making you weaker by casting more powerful stuff. Let's go and roll some spells for you, like right away.
All right.
And, it's a d20 roll, so give me a d20.
15.
15. Mending, which is you can make objects better, whole again if they're broken, and so on.
That's good.
That's very useful. Then another roll.
16.
16. A protective circle, which is what it says on the tin. So you put a circle on the ground and it gives you protection from harm and magics and ranged attacks and whatnot.
And can it affect only me, or is it like area? thing?
It's a small area. The caster draws a circle, a maximum diameter of 5 meters on the ground that becomes suffused with magical symbols that protect anyone inside.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
and if you already have one circle active, the next one takes a penalty to it. So, like basically, you have to break the previous circle if you want to have the as much benefit as possible. So having up one up at a time, and your third spell. 4 Elemental Burst. Elemental Burst. Elemental forces shoot out of the caster's hands in a powerful but short-range burst. And this is a very chaotic spell. You have to decide which elemental version you want. Fire version causes unattended flammable objects to catch on fire. Water douses torches. Earth shatters fragile objects. Air knocks things over and pushes them around. And then there is the fifth element, which is spirit, which heightens the current emotion of anyone who has been hit with this spell.
So fifth element, the element of surprise, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll roll for this one. These are all kind of nice ones. So 2 water doses.
2 water.
Torture. So it's only water, and it doesn't include like variations of ice.
No,
only water. Okay.
Only water.
Does it create water, or does it?
I'd say we can be creative. The water is sort of burst like, but in a like a very dire situation, you basically could use it for like water if you want to drink or something. It goes away unless like it does something.
Right.
But it's a very chaotic spell. So like the mid-range version, and you roll for all spells. So mid-range version only affects a couple of targets, while the biggest version of this creates like an elemental burst that affects everyone in front of you at like in a short range. So it be careful who is in front of you when casting this. I'll say that. But yeah,
right.
Those are your spells, and you can cast any of them as many times as you want. There is no number of spells, but if you roll really badly, then there is a possibility that you stumble and forget it for the day. So it's like there is a small chance of losing the spell as you cast it, but it doesn't, like you don't have 5 castings of a spell and whatnot. Yes. And in combat, magic users are pretty much as effective as experts. So, except experts get that extra thing they do with each attack. So, with normal weapons, you still are effective even if you don't have any spells, or even if you would have no spells that are useful in combat. So, that's that. Then, any questions about the characters or roles?
I think I'm pretty fine. I have an idea of.
Okay. Backgrounds. While the roles are these sort of big categories, backgrounds are who your characters actually are. Fighter can be a knight, a hunter, a barbarian, or whatever. As well, like a magic user could be a witch, a cleric, a wizard, or scholar, or whatever. So we have. Let's see. I think I'm sharing the screen to you, right?
Yep, you're.
So here's 20 example backgrounds for experts. You can roll or choose from this list.
I'm gonna roll.
Yeah, I'm
Sounds good.
rolling as well.
Let's start with the expert since that's on the screen.
Yep.
I have a 3. Ooh,
3.
The last of the Wormwood Bandits.
Yep. So you
Interesting.
once were a bandit, a wormwood bandit. Now there are no more wormwood bandits. There's just you. And you get a short spear and a heavy leather coat, which is actually an armor. So there's on the right of your character sheet, there is this inventory notes. So on the first row, there is weapon from background, and then there's equipment from background. So mark those there. So, and a short spear and heavy leather coat, and you can mark on the left. Then there's the armor place. You can mark as light armor from the drop down. And then let's do the magic user.
I rolled an 8, so it's a herbalist.
Get the looking strange plants.
And I get a sickle and a herb satchel.
Yeah. So there's you have a satchel and there's herbs. They might be something useful, and probably are something useful. These are always something a little bit nice. And of course, these also give the characters a different variety of knowledge on things. So the herbalist will know a lot about plants, while a bandit probably knows a lot about going about in the woods in a very stealthy way or such. So these are things to take into consideration later on. One more thing to do before we are done, or a couple of things actually. Starting equipment, there is already on your character sheet marked these equipments. And Andu, you can write the equipment as well in the, if you want to, in your character sheet. The sickle and pouch, sickle and what was it?
Herbal pouch, but I have it here. So.
Yeah, herb satchel. Yep. So and they're on the top of the inventory here. They have a slot there.
Oh, yeah, the weapon and the equipment. Oh, right.
Yeah, weapon and equipment are from background. So that's nice. And then what there is where is it? You also get some money, 3d6 silver pieces, which is a nice sum, but not much at all.
3, so we roll 3d6.
3d6, yes.
3d6. Right.
3d6. What you say?
14.
That's nice. That's very, very good.
It was 3d6, right?
3d6, yes. And silver pieces are on the
14.
On the right. You both have 14. Okay. Good. Now, about the world. The world was a magical place. The world was full of wonder and amazement. and people were using magic regularly, and there were many powerful wizards, and the wizards grew in power, and this resulted in the end of the world. Only a small area of the world survived, thanks to a sun god called Aurelius. That is basically the only god there is. The others were destroyed in the end of the world, the cataclysm. And because the end of the world was so horrible, there has been a decree that magic is prohibited, and exploration of the lands beyond the Holy Confederacy is taboo. No one shall go beyond the borders, except rediscovery companies, which are groups of people who have paid the church for a fancy letter saying that they can go beyond the borders and seek out what was lost in the end of the world. The two of you are a part of one such company. You have invested the last of your money to get the deed, the permit to go outside the borders, and now you're setting out on your first adventure. To return, the reason I'm talking about the end of the world was a magical thing. It was super powerful spell effects going wrong everywhere all at once. And that has left everyone in the known world different from what they were. Everyone has some signs of the magic that is everywhere. So these are known as magical birthrights. They are purely role-playing things. They have no mechanical effect, but if this was a more typical post-apocalyptic game, these are what one would call mutations. But since this is a magical setting, these are magical birthrights. What we're going to do is both of you roll a d4 twice and take the lower of that roll.
You and 2.
So you have 2 birthrights. Well, what, Annina? Yeah, 2 d4.
Yeah. Take the lower, that's a 2.
Yep. So both of you have 2 birthrights, and they are divided into these 8 categories. So let's start with Andu first. Can you make 2 d8 rolls?
Yep. 8 and 8.
8 and 8, void. So basically anti-magic. And this is we talked about. Yeah.
How does that make sense?
As I said, these are sort of visual and role-playing things, but like a character who, if Andu had rolled 2 fires, it would have still made sense with him knowing water spells. These are just things that are ambient everywhere. So, yeah. But, yeah, so 2 void. Void birthright. Typically, void traits are creepy. They are unnerving, and void children are seen as blessing because they are quiet and like whatever. These are stereotypes. They have nothing to do with reality, but parents think that void children are easy. So there's 20 example features. If we're going by how we've been doing this, you can roll twice on the table.
You know it.
This is cool. Oh, very
7.
cool.
Eyes are sunken in. All right.
Oh.
All right. And 6. Skin feels leathery to the touch.
Oh, you're creepy looking, definitely.
Yeah, like a bit shriveled somehow. Yeah. And you had 2 as well, so
Yep. 2d8, is it?
2d8.
Yeah. Okay. I have a 3 and a 5.
So fire and water, which is interesting. Fire birthright are considered to be warm, active, and a bit insect-like. There is a lot of, like, the colors are towards bright reds, oranges, and parents consider fire children to be independent, and common belief is that they'll grow up strong and healthy. So let's start with this one.
So a
D20.
What is my fire birthright? That's a 1.
Skin feels dry to touch.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're both a bit
Getting
dry.
very dry though, not just like no.
Yeah. It's like
Okay, very dry.
sandpaper.
Sandpaper skin. Mm.
Yeah. And water birthright, they're cool, moist, and fish-like are the typical qualities of water
dry
birthrights.
and moist at the same time.
Yeah.
And water birthright is usually seen by parents as a like indication that the child will find their place in the world, just like a water finds their place in a pond. So it's a blessing, maybe.
So I got 7.
7. Body odor has a slight kelp tint to it.
I smell fishy.
You smell fishy. You smell like sushi.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But as I said, these are things that everyone has, and also like one thing that you can consider is if you want your skin color to gravitate towards one of those colors that are associated with the element. So greens and blues for water, and orange and red for fire. And I think
What's
it's
void?
dark.
Yeah.
Void is light and dark grays. So they're
since
creepy.
I've got both, could I have like greenish skin but orange hair?
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
I think I'm going, I guess, in the gray.
Yep. And as said, everyone has these. So these are not like, you're not weirdos because you have these. This is just like, and these are not hereditary. So if both parents have fire traits, the child might have air traits. It's just, it comes from like what currents of magic were flowing when the child was conceived, basically. And then, since this is the part I personally hate the most, I've made a table of names. If you want to roll, I have some totally random name would be 1d100. To get a younger character, a roll d66, so basically 2d six-sided dice. One is the tens, one is the ones. If you want a more mature person, go with 5d20, and if you want someone like very old, then roll 3d10 and go from back to forward. These are ordered so that here's like younger names, and here are more like classic names on the end. So
You said 5d20 for someone not young but not very old.
Yeah.
So it's not excellent mid-age. Let's go
Yeah.
with that, because I was an ex-bandit, so I won't be too young.
Yeah, or at least your name won't be.
So I did 5d20. Do I just
Yep.
count them all together?
Just the sum.
I rolled, but I didn't like my pick, so I think I'll go with Yorick instead.
Yorick. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
add that to
Yorick.
your name.
The
Yeah,
Finnish,
Yorick.
Finnish pronunciation. Yeah.
Yes.
I got
Sweet.
81, which would be Dagmar. That doesn't sound very feminine. I'll go with Dagmar.
Dagmar. Okay.
Dagmar, yeah, that's the bandit.
More
I
like
think that-
Daggermar.
Yeah.
Dagmar. Okay.
Dagmar.
And for reasons that might come up later, if your character's name ends with an S, that means that they are a house owner. Just like it's traditional to when you become the matron or patron of the house, you add an S to the end of your name. So Yorick would be Yorick's and Dagmar would be Dagmar's.
Okay. Interesting.
Just a bit of social detail. I think that's all. We have characters and yeah, let's go quickly and look at the character sheet that everything is okay. You can both switch your weapon to a normal melee weapon. Yeah. Short spear is normal as well.
Normal melee. There we go.
And yeah, light armor there and no armor there. That's
I saw
good.
I put my my ability scores in the current ability score column, but I guess I should also put them in the
But put them in both, so current and permanent. Permanent is just when your character's scores start going down, you know where they should be maximally. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll also.
And Annina, you missed the stamina. You put 10. It should be 11.
Oh, yes, thank you. There we go.
Okay, and yeah, I'm just quickly checking everything is fine. Quick note about the grit die. It's basically when your character gets damaged, that's the dice you roll, and if you roll more than the damage you were dealt, you're fine. If you get the same or lower, then you go down.
Got you.
So basically, the grit die there is when you get hit with damage, you roll your grit die, and if your roll is higher than what comes up with the damage die I'm rolling, then you're okay. If you get lower or equal, then you go down. Basically, a magic user can survive for a really long time, even if they have a grit die of 1d4, if they roll very, very well, and I roll very poorly. But it's not guaranteed. So each damage you take might be lethal on your first level. Just as a warning. This is a very lethal game. But yeah, I think we are done. We have names, we have roles, we have backgrounds, we have ability scores, and we have equipment. And yeah, let's take a small break and come back with some adventure. See you in a moment.